Good evening and welcome to another episode of Americana. I'm Willie Montague.
And I'm Shakia Hinton.
Tonight isn't about talking points, it's about truth. Because while headlines change every hour, the consequences of leadership last for generations. The choices being made right now in government, in culture, and in our communities aren't abstract. They shape how we live, what we believe, and what kind of country our children inherit. So tonight, we slow it down, break it apart, and ask the questions that actually matter. You already know. Buckle up tight. This is Americana. All right, coming up on today's episode of Americana, a GOP revolt as party loyalty clashes with policy, serious questions after reports that 1,200 detainees at Alligator Alcatraz are missing, and a look back at a century of black political wins and what comes next in a viral debate over cartoons and Jeffrey Epstein connection or conspiracy. What shall it be? Getting right into it, there is a GOP revolt. In case you don't know, that's the grand old party, the Republican Party. 6 House Republicans broke ranks and joined Democrats to pass a revolution.
Not a revolution.
To pass a resolution blocking President Trump's tariffs on Canadian imports in a 219 to 211 vote, marking a rare rebuke from within his own party. The lawmakers said the tariffs was hurting local economies and raising costs for Americans, while others argue Congress, not the president, should control trade policies. What's happening?
The people are waking up. The people are woke.
They are, yes, they are.
They're woke.
They are woke. Now, this is interesting to me because this ties in, this is going to be multiple topics here, even though we're talking about this. But I don't know if you saw the hearing with Attorney General Pam Bondi.
I did.
Okay, so that has been a total disaster.
Yes.
So I've tied this into even Republicans in that hearing, and then you have Republicans here with the tariffs. It's seeming to really break free from the think tank of we have to stay in sync with it, because what President Trump put out, I think it was yesterday, was basically if you vote against this, you're going to have a price to pay even in the primaries, meaning that he is going to probably get somebody to run against him. He is going to make it a living hell for these people to be able to stay in their seats. Now, this is where it bothers me. We have levels of government, and we need to get back to that level of government. This should not be the type of thing that we see going back and forth. And I'm saying this as someone who has voted for President Trump, someone who is a Republican, that when we make those type of things, you leave it, you no longer want to hear the voice of the constituents. Is more of just the voice of whom at that point is the president, which would be President Trump.
Yeah, it's almost the definition of an authoritarian, where the power rules with one person, one party, one body, right? And so we're seeing what we know as Americans change right before our eyes. And it's almost like you have to pledge your allegiance to Trump and not necessarily this country and the likes thereof. And so I am happy to see those Republicans who actually decided to break rank and do what they felt was right within their conscience and for their constituents that put them into office. They are serving their constituents, not necessarily for the likelihood of President Trump.
And it's going to be interesting because I'm pretty sure many of them are up for re-election. So to me, it's going to be interesting to see how this is going to go because, you know, tariffs this was part of President Trump's campaign and this is his second term with saying that tariffs is what's going to basically be part of making America great again. And putting these tariffs on Canada is where, you know, these Republicans broke, because they're like, you know, this is not just you trying to say or strong arm Canada. You're now coming into economies that's beyond just the federal economy.
Yeah.
And so that's the problem that these people are having. And this goes back to, again, with Pam Bondi. I personally think she should have never been confirmed. She is the
Ding, ding, ding.
She is the worst
Ding, ding, ding.
attorney general that I have seen. And I'm sorry, you guys. Like, I did a little poll on my Facebook to say, what do you guys think? And these Republicans are like, she's horrible.
Yeah.
Should have never been confirmed. Like, she has no fight in her to actually with truth. It's just like, let me try the narrative of it, because I think somebody else's name, she came after Thomas Massey, who is conservative as they get.
Yep.
And so I feel like where are we going? So this goes back to, again, Republicans and Democrats, we have to learn how to find a way to get on the same page to get the country moving forward.
Absolutely. And to touch briefly on the tariffs thing, when Trump was campaigning about tariffs during the election cycle, it was posed as if the tariffs weren't going to land in the laps of the American people, that it was going to be footed by someone else. But we all know, if you took economics in class, that it falls into the lap of the consumer, right? And so now farmers are feeling it because their crops are at a higher, price at the grocery stores. Everyone is feeling the tariffs. The unilateral tariffs are not profiting anybody at this point.
Well, I'll tell you this, and don't hold it, because I normally won't say this, but I'm going to say this because I eat organic, only organic foods.
And you paying at the wazoo.
And I went to get organic bananas.
At the wazoo.
2 weeks prior, they were 68 cents each.
Mm-hmm.
I looked, they were $2.28.
$2.28.
$2.28. I had went from going to get 20 bananas to going to get 5.
We're going to space these bananas out.
Y'all better cut them up, freeze them, freeze-dry, put them in there, dehydrate, whatever you need to do. So I would say this, that because of this, and well, we'll talk about that. But because of this, I do think we need to look at where we tie into it when it comes to the economy of people, because everybody has a different, I tell people, I'm definitely not no top 1%, but I like nice things.
Sure.
And this is where it goes to me, where I tell people, I even tell our boys, it's important to understand that if you want something, you ought to be able to go out and get it. And so in this time that we're living in, it should not feel like their futures of their homes, their cars, their dream vehicles and things are so far out of reach that they're going to be 60 and 70 years old, finally saying, oh, Ma, I got a house, I got a car.
Yeah.
And I think that that's what we're looking at if we don't start, getting our budget together and doing what we need to do as American people. So,
absolutely.
All right, there are 1,200 detainees that are missing. Alligator Alcatraz is an ICE detention center located in South Florida that can house up to 3,000 detainees. As of now, 1,200 of those have been reported missing and their existence have been wiped clean.
That's scary.
Yes.
That is very scary.
Ooh.
And it's not a laughing matter at all, just to be clear. It's almost like a nervous laughter. Like, where are these people? And why is it that their existence has been completely wiped out? Like, there is no trace of these detainees that were sent to Alcatraz, which is, like you just mentioned, in South Florida, right? So that's the name of the detention center. The nickname for the detention center. And so it's scary when you think about it, and then historically you think about what they did to people in concentration camps before. This is almost like one of those camps. Like, are they burning these people? Some people are saying that they are trafficking them now, especially with the Jeffrey Epstein case being open and, running rampant on social media. There's a lot of speculation about where these people are, yet the powers that be are not giving answers as to where these 1,200 people could be. So I want to ask you, is this constitutional, one, even though that they are considered to be illegal immigrants? Where is the dignity of Americans? Like, where do we draw the line with treating people with human decency?
I think we draw the line back to what the Constitution says, which is what basically makes up what a person is, or basically details that we all have rights. Now, us having rights never came because it said God-given rights. These are rights that God gave us, and it is life, is liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. With that being said, this that is happening with the detainees, my question is if these individuals were tracked in the beginning, or they named, that's why I guess I would ask you, were these individuals, did they have names attached to them? Were there, or were they just put in there without no kind of identities?
They were named.
Okay. So that's alarming, because what it would be to me is if we have some kind of, just like anybody, you go in and you have a system where you have all the people that are there, you listen. Now, unless this is something that they're trying to say, these are individuals that are dangerous, or these are individuals that we just don't want here, and we just don't want people to know where they are, because we don't want them to know that we put them back into society. That's I'm trying to look at both angles of it.
I hear that, but then that also makes me think about those who are currently sitting on death row in like our actual federal prisons right now. We have an account as to where these people are. We know what cell block they in. We know how much time they have served, how much time they have left when they're up for repeal, all the things, right? So there is an account for those type of violent criminals in our federal prison systems. When it comes to detainees and illegal immigrants in this country, we treat them and discard them as if they are like the bottom of the barrel, or that they're not human at all. So if we don't have a record of these people, but yet we're keeping track of our own violent criminals, it just shows you the disparity in like the inhumane circumstances that we're putting these people in. If we don't want them in our country, why not send them back to their homeland country with dignity? I know that the DHS is saying that they would give them like $250 or $2,500 or something like that if they come willingly to come forth and say, like, I'm not a resident of this country and I want to be sent back. They're going to give them some type of stipend. But what happens when that money runs out? Like, why is it that you want to entice people to go back home by giving them $2,500 when the American currency is currently going down?
It is. And so I guess is, how do we solve this overall? Because it's going to take money either way, because most of the people who are over here, if they really came for a better life, they don't have the funds to get back to where they came from anyway. So at what point do we step back as America and say that we're not going to be responsible for them either way? So do we let them continue to stay here using our resources? Do we pack them up, send them back using our resources? So where is it that where we can draw our hand back? Because I feel like after a while, there's a part where we just need to stop being involved in and focus on America. Because if we continue to do this, we're losing our resources. Because I know we don't have $2,500.
That is true.
Because this is we just talking about in South Florida.
In South Florida.
And that so that's it can hold 3,000. So say it was 3,000 times that 2,500.
Correct.
And then God knows all of the other states that also have, because Florida is not a border state. It's just it's part of where it comes. So imagine the border states that have way more detainees. That's like, where do we get that money from?
I have no idea. But Pam Bondi, leave it to her.
She doesn't even know.
Listen, I was about to say she don't know nothing about nothing. She don't know nothing about nothing, but yet she is the head person in charge right now.
Yes, and she is from Florida.
Yes, she is. Yes. I'm not.
Well, all good things don't come out of Florida.
Oh God.
So moving on, over the past century, Black Americans have achieved historic political milestones, from landmark voting rights laws to barrier-breaking elections and first-ever leaders at every level of government. These victories didn't come easily. They were fought for through protest, persistence, and policy change. But the question today isn't just how far we've come, it's what these wins mean now and whether progress is still moving forward or facing new obstacles.
I think obviously there's progress, right? There have been victories, but the playing field is not equal yet at this moment. And I think a lot of organizers, we tend to want like instant gratification on our wins. But true organizing, you don't see instant gratification. It's for the long haul. And so I just pray that we have the endurance to see more victories and more wins for our Black people in the centuries to come.
I just want to know how long we think this will take. What is the next? Because we have seen progress and we have been victories, and I believe that. Well, I said this earlier this week that I believe this is our year. For whatever reason, I believe that that Black people, I'm not even gonna say people, Black people in particular, that this is our year to succeed. And
They
I'm
go to
saying
glasses. Yes, sir.
and I'm saying this because I have a buddy out there, Santino, that I always joke and be like, Black people are the reason why he's here. That's why I say. So I know he's watching. But I'll say this: this is our year. This is our year to be able to excel, accelerate, and do what we need to do. But the question is, as we talk about this decades, ago or the centuries ago, is like, as I said before, like there was a tenacity that was there. And I feel like as a people of color today, as Black people, that somewhere our drive is just not there the same way. I feel like we're in fights that we shouldn't be in. I feel like we are having conversations that we done had and are dead that we need to go back and strategize about how to reintroduce that conversation. So I feel like the progress is there. The progress has been made and progress still can be made, but I feel like something is missing.
It's apathy.
Okay.
I think there is a wave of apathy that has come across our generation of people because we don't see the instant gratification of what we are trying to achieve right now.
Right.
Like we grew up with in between eras where AOL and dial-up was our thing, right? Versus the kids today are on Wi-Fi instantly. Right. So we are used to both. We know how to navigate through both, but those who are coming after us, they are looking for instant gratification, and social justice is not an instant thing. It is usually for the long haul. Like if you say, hey, voting rights is the North Star, but how do we get to the North Star? There are different steps. There are different laws that have to be in place. There's a lot of advocacy that has to go into place before we actually reach that destination. And some of us don't have that stamina. So that increases the apathy. Like, oh, well, I went to vote and I still don't see no change. Right. Mm-hmm. But it's a continuous effort in that.
Yeah, absolutely. Because it's being present even if others are not present.
Correct.
And that's the part that I continue to remind myself is that someone had to tell me a couple of weeks ago, and I was like, I just don't want, they was like, you're making an excuse. I was like, no, I just want it because I've already seen it. Like, this is how people go. She was like, listen, you have to just keep showing up and making your presence known because somebody's watching, somebody's hearing, somebody's seeing. And I would say that there's apathy out there. Mm-hmm. And so I would just encourage our people out there, to wake up to the occasion. Yeah. Let the sun shine through. Don't even cut the lights on because that's artificial. Let the sun shine through. Let the sun shine through. And then when it beams upon your eyes, you wake up and you say, God, I got a mission and I got a purpose. Yeah. All right? We got a mission, we got a purpose. All right. Today we moving.
We moving.
Cartoons and Jeffrey Epstein, movies like Pinocchio, Peter Pan, SpongeBob SquarePants. All right. SpongeBob SquarePants. Okay. And so many others have similarities in their storyline. Many portray life without parents or in a desert island or the kidnapping of little children. And this is very true. I like this, where we're going here. Is this a reach or has the story of Jeffrey Epstein been told in plain sight and we just didn't see it at all?
Ooh, yeah, adjust your glasses. We don't know. We don't know. But there has been talk that there are similarities in a lot of these old school stories, whereas what you just mentioned about there being on kids being kidnapped, put on a deserted island, and then just kids just doing whatever they want, however they want. Some of them being drugged, right? With Snow White. Home Alone even, but the boy was by himself. Like there is a lot that is intertwined in this. And so the conversation is this an overreach? Or like The Simpsons, is this really like something that's being projected and they're sharing with us in real time? Or is this just a reach?
I think that this is something that is showing what has been going on for way longer than Jeffrey Epstein. Mm-hmm. And I believe that Jeffrey Epstein I believe that there's exposure. Help me, Holy Ghost, they might be coming for me. I believe that there is exposure in every generation.
Okay.
But what happens in that exposure is now I feel the Holy Ghost.
Tap in.
While they're being exposed, there is another entity that's rising beneath it. And that while we're focused on Jeffrey Epstein, there's a whole nother kingdom of darkness that has already started coming up.
Absolutely.
And so we're fighting what was and don't realize what is. And that's why I believe that we never catch up to who the people are behind it. Because meanwhile, Jeffrey Epstein has done, he's gone. And now we're still seeing from 2019, waiting for these victims, waiting for this. But from 2019 to 2026, do we honestly think that nothing else has transpired among all of the, as we could call it, the Hollyweird, as nothing has happened with that? Stuff is still going on, and there's always a kingdom that's being built, because if it wasn't, we would not have the government the way it is entangled right now.
I would agree, and especially because our faith aligns with one another, right? So you're referencing a lot of Christianity,
Right.
Inuisms and all that. But I do want to point out something. The Nickelodeon Logan, right? The orange splatter.
Right.
That actually resembles a lot like Jeffrey Epstein's island.
Okay.
Have you ever considered that?
No, I didn't.
And me
Can y'all
neither.
bring it up? For
we
the
need
folks
to
if you
have
can.
like some. If you're in the comments, put it in the comments for me. But I honestly, there's a lot of things that we've seen over the years, and to your point, we've just never equated to Jeffrey Epstein or what's been happening behind the scenes, because as you mentioned, this has been going on way before Jeffrey.
Right.
But it wasn't until these two girls got into an argument at a high school. Do you even know how all of this even came out?
No, please, because I
Just really quickly, just for context. So the reason why Jeffrey Epstein, this whole case is now a thing, is because two girls, white girls in high school, were arguing with one another about being a prostitute. They were friends. A friend found $300 in this girl's purse. The girl was like, oh, I got it from massaging a guy. The girl was then questioned by the authorities. The girl told the authorities it's a guy named Jeffrey Epstein, and that is how this whole thing came about.
Wow.
And so that was back in the day. That was in 2005.
Wow, okay.
And here we are now. So since 2005 up until now, that is how the whole thing has transpired with Jeffrey Epstein.
And we're going on from 2019 to 2026. So I'm trying to tell you, guys,
Lord,
there is something out there that is the government and all of its, and I'm trying to be careful with naming certain subjects.
Appreciate you.
There are entities, that's all I'm going to say, that is at play, that has always been, because power always seek power.
Yeah.
And it always comes to destroy which they think they have control over. And it always comes to, that's why you see a lot of women and children, because it's the innocence that they seek after. And that's why I tell people, we have to protect our children. Because that's what they pray after. Boys, girls, it don't matter. It's whoever they feel like they can control and dominate, and that's where they take over. And then when you are in power, then they come and dominate from that standpoint, because it's easy to infiltrate a government that has no standards. And so that's that's all I got to say today.
That's the glasses, or is this what you're tapping into?
That's all I got to say today, because I don't want them knocking on my door. You hear what I'm saying? They come back there because I carry, all right? All right, Black History Month. I tell you, my Second Amendment going to protect my first.
Oh, my God.
All right, Black History
Carry
Month
on.
Spotlight. A. Philip Randolph. A. Philip Randolph was a pioneering labor organizer who founded the Brotherhood of Sleeping Car Porters, the first successful Black labor union in America. He pressured presidents, organized mass movements, and helped push forward civil rights reforms long before they became national priorities. Randolph's leadership proved that organized people, not just powerful people, can change history. His quote is, "Freedom is never granted, it is won. Justice is never given, it is exacted." All right, that's the Black History Spotlight of today.
And I have to admit, I've never heard much about him, so I'm going to have to do some more research on him.
Yes, me too, because I didn't know there was a thing. Yes.
That is awesome. Well, I'm Shakia Hinton.
And I'm Willie Montague.
This has been Americana. Join us tomorrow, same time, same place, here on Afro TV. Have a good evening.